radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show, the #1 talk show for empowering, inspiring, and motivating women and everyone. And we're helping women to see that it is possible. You have to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. And that's Real Talk. I am Dr. Judy, your Real Talk host, and this is my amazing well, she's not, she's absent right now, but she'll be running in. But we're here, and we will be getting started right now. Thank you for being with me today, right here on Hallelujah 95.3 FM. And those joining me via Facebook and YouTube, want to thank you too for joining in today. Greatly appreciate you returning once again to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. And do me a favor, go ahead and call and text, tag, and share with every woman, every person you know, as we celebrate again Women in History Month. But today we have a topic that I think is going to really help all of us. And I also have two wonderful guests, and you're going to absolutely be inspired by them. And we'll talk to you about them in a little bit. I want to say hello to my mama, Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley, there in Fort Lauderdale. She's the reason I am who I am, and the reason I get to do be who I am. Thank you, Mama, so very much. My awesome and amazing husband, Superintendent Gerald Mandrell, Senior Pastor of Life Changers. He is the reason I get to do what I do. He is the reason I get to do what I do. And to my amazing team, led by our marketing director, Mrs. Priscilla John Louis, who helps me deliver an award-winning show to a great audience every Tuesday. I want to thank you to the greatest audience ever for keep returning, coming back with enthusiasm about your success. Thank you once again for being on to the tune in to the Real Talk with Judy show. To all of our business sponsors who have been scrolled beneath on the page there, thank you for your sponsorship so very much. And I ask you all to look them up, patronize them, and give them some business. They're absolutely wonderful people. So I want to thank you all. And we have some more partners. We're going to add your name, but we just thank you so very much. If you are not a business partner of the Real Talk with Judy show, I'm going to ask you to consider becoming one. We got a few more months left in this year. This year is passing by fast. It is already March 15th. It is already March 15th. So for more information, visit my webpage, www.realtalkwithjudy.com. And the Real Talk with Judy show, y'all, is about empowerment, inspiration, motivation, enlightenment, and awakening, or helping you to see your possibility, helping you to dream and even clear than you, and help you to see clearer than you do right now. And so every guest that I bring on have the capacity. Oh, we got a third guest. There's the other guest. There's the other guest right there. Oh, and we're glad, man. I love Gabrielle has some beautiful dogs. She really does. I said, but that's what we're here. And so I always bring guests that I admire and who have helped me in one form of another to see better or to understand some things better, to be a better person. And I'm going to introduce these two amazing women. They are trailblazers. They are trailblazers. They're opening doors or giving opportunity to others. They, y'all know, I think it's Hansel and Gretel who left the crumbs so they can get back. I love that story, and that's who these ladies are to me. And Carrie, I work closer with, but absolutely amazing. And I'm going to introduce them And I like this statement. It said it's not the will to win, but the will to prepare to win that counts. And so we want to talk to you today about opening doors for others, but also about being prepared when the doors open for you. You can't just walk in. So y'all got some good people here today. Okay. So I have two amazing guests, and they're going to help me navigate the show. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I see that Christy. No. Okay. I can't see way back there right now because y'all know I'm cute. So, but we're glad. I have with me in the studio attorney Carrie Board, and she is the executive director and CEO of Legal Aid Foundation of Tallahassee. And y'all, I absolutely love the work of legal aid.
Yes.
And so that she's going to talk. We're going to talk about all that. But she's also the chairwoman of the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, and I get to serve with her on that.
Yes.
And she's gonna tell us some more things about her. But I want to bring her on, a lady that I admire and have great respect and honor for. And I want to welcome to the Real Talk with Judy show, the one and only Carrie, attorney Carrie Board.
Well, with that introduction, thank you, Judy. It has truly been my pleasure to get to know Dr. Mandrell and serve with her on the Commission for the Status of Women and Girls here in Tallahassee, Leon County. So thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to have you. So glad to have you. And my second guest, I don't like messing up people's names, but I'm going to give it my best shot with everything in me because she's an awesome woman and she deserved to have her name announced correctly. If I don't do it, she's going to do it. I promise you. But I want to bring and introduce to y'all Dr. Gabrielle Gabrielli. Okay, and she's the president of Life Worth Leading and CEO of Gabrielle Consulting Incorporation. And plus, she is going to tell us, Dr. Gabrielle, thank you for being on the Real Talk with Judy show. You know, absolutely smart. I attended one of her leadership sessions, and she has some great things to say for leaders. She's a leader extraordinaire, and she knows how to get us to the point. Welcome to the Real Talk with Judy show.
Thank you for having me. And obviously I have some guests here. So excuse my animals. I've got Finn, my dog, here, and I've got two kitties. Ziggy was the one who just made an appearance. So Willow's on my lap. I'm working from home, so, you know.
Hey, I mean, I'm glad to have you here and all of your animals. Every last one. You can bring the horse in, we'll take the horse, we'll take everybody. But we're so glad to have, I'm so glad to have both of you all on the show. It means a lot for me to have you all. And simply too, because I want to get women from Tallahassee that I know love people and are interested in seeing all people, especially the women, have an opportunity to succeed. And that's how I see you, Carrie. That's how I see you, Gabrielle. So for the audience who do not know you, Carrie, we'll start with you. Will you just tell us a little bit about you?
Sure.
Audience?
Sure. Well, I've gotten to know Dr. Judy through, as I said, the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. So I was humbled to be elected to that position by my peers and fellow commissioners. And, you know, the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls has been in effect since 2011. We're an advisory board to the city and county government, and we really seek to inform the elected commissioners and the mayors about the needs of the women in the community. And so, you know, this women-centric organization is really central to all that I am and all that I believe in. I was raised by a strong mother, a very strong grandmother and great aunt, and I have a wonderful sister up in the Chicago area, you know, and we were raised to be at the table. And I remember it was actually my father who said to me one time, you know, Carrie, you're not going to be at the table, you're going to bring the table with you. And to Judy's point today about opening doors, you have to be prepared for when that opportunity presents itself. So I grew up, I first thought I wanted to go into medicine, and then am a sexual assault survivor, and that changed the course of my life. And so I went into the legal profession. I got my law degree, and I've really been serving others through the legal lens throughout the entirety of my adult life. And I also believe strongly in the intersection of for-profit and nonprofit business to lift up and empower others. And so with that, my husband and I have developed our own company that gives profits to nonprofits through real estate. And so, you know, we're just really trying to set the pace for what we would like to see in the community. But above and beyond, I really admire Dr. Mandrell, and I feel what she's doing to inspire and lead all women is exactly what is needed here in Tallahassee. So thank you.
Oh, one of the things, you're from Chicago?
I grew up in the Midwest. So yes, I grew up in Illinois, where it is very cold, and I'm very pleased to call Tallahassee home for the past 5 years.
One of the things that you said, and we're going to get to discuss that. Hello, Madam President Christy Henry, the Madam President of the Rotary, Tallahassee Rotary South Side, who's doing an excellent job. Thank you all for being on, Sharon Mizell and Elizabeth Brown, and so many of Rashonda. Thank you. So many of you. Thank you to all of you who are tuned in by radio, Facebook, and YouTube. So go ahead and type some names in there, share it, get these people on here. Carrie, you just mentioned something, and you said that you was raised to sit at the table.
To bring the table. Bring the table.
Ooh, I love you were raised to bring the table.
Bring the table.
And so after we get Dr. Gab on here, don't forgive me now because I gave you a short name. Okay, Doc? All right. But I want to talk about that a little bit because there are some who were not raised.
That's right.
To bring the table.
That's right.
And I think that's a good point because now we can talk a moment that at this point in time, how to build your own table to bring because you've been there.
That's right.
Right, you've been there. Dr. Gab, you've been there. And so this is going to be good because I love to give insight to people that perhaps when they leave this show, they'll say, wow, I can do that.
Yeah.
Or they can contact you and say, can you further instruct me and lead me? Dr. Gab, tell us a little, that is some good points. Dr. Gab, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Gabrielli. Hate having my name shortened, so please don't call me Dr. Gab. Dr. G, I'll answer to that. But
okay, I did Dr. G.
That's okay. But anyway, yeah. So I was raised in a military family and lived all over the place, including in Germany, New York, Ohio, Delaware, all over Florida. Consider myself a Floridian for sure. But I moved to Tallahassee when I was 17 years old to attend Florida State and Florida A&M universities. Loved both of my experiences there. And I was just somebody who kind of always had a compassionate heart and wanted to help others and wanted to make sure that I opened doors for others and even in my own struggles. And so I started a nonprofit organization, Life Worth Leading, about 5 years ago to benefit people with disabilities and animals. and I do a lot of very active things through that, including teaching scuba. So, and then Gabrielle Consulting is the name of my business. And through that, I have a leadership academy and I get to do all kinds of fun things with helping people grow through coaching, mentoring, teaching, and consulting. So I am really happy to be here. I love Tallahassee. I've never felt more at home, even though I don't have family here. And Dr. Judy, you know, I'm a big fan of yours. I've been a sister girl since the start and just really happy for all that you're doing in this community and beyond.
And, you know, I want to thank you all because it's women of your caliber that I admire because neither one of you have looked down on anyone that I've seen, you know, and you're always lifting and encouraging people. Talk about how important that is, that we not do that, or how that becomes your account. Let's hear that.
Yeah. Well, I think we become what we say to ourselves. And it's taken me a long time. I'm in my 40s now, but it's taken me a long time to really believe that and feel that.
Okay.
And I start every day of my life with a positive self-reflection, whether it is today is going to be a great day. My children are 11 and 8 respectively. And when I drop them off at school, the last thing I say to them is, what is today? And they say, it's a great day to have a great day. And they kind of roll their eyes a little bit, but I really do believe that they're starting to believe it. And so how we speak to ourselves really matters if we're going to speak kindly to others. And so I absolutely believe you have to embody the kindness that you seek in the world.
Wow. Dr. G?
I completely agree. And I do think the things that you say are what you become. And so even if you don't believe them, I teach to people that I coach that positive affirmations are very important, because that voice in our head is typically the one that's picking on ourselves, and we need to be kind to ourselves in order for other people to be kind to us. But one of the things you said about not putting other people down, I think if you've ever been in a position of being put down or looked down upon, like I was, growing up with a disability, then moving to a town that didn't accept me because I was an outsider. I was beaten up. I was bullied. It was a very difficult childhood in that respect. I think if you've ever walked in the shoes of somebody who's been looked down on, hopefully you learn from that, and you want to make sure that never happens to anyone, that you have the ability to see people and to help people and to let them know that wherever they are in their life, there's meaning, there's purpose, they're here for a reason, and they deserve to be seen, they deserve to be heard. And so I love helping people find their voice.
And I thank you all both so much. And you just said something, Dr. G, the voice in our head pick on us so much, especially if we've been in a place, in the climate in which we live in now, to me is just terrible. And I believe that I believe that it's going to be us women who really make a change. That this is my belief, my opinion. That's going to really make a change in the atmosphere where we are. Growing up, Karen and Dr. G, my mom, my dad always, prejudice was not in our house. We had positive affirmation. Karen, which I thought was, I'm a big fan of quotes and all of that, because of the way I was raised. And so we was raised to see everybody as the same, right? I went to South Plantation High School, go figure. South Plantation High School. And when I went there, I was a strong Black woman, right, already. But when we got, it never diminishes, just that when we got there, we encountered something that we never had to deal with before. And Kara, I just thought about it. I might like you so much because my best friend's name was Samantha Bird, and she was a white girl, but she and I was like sisters. We became so close, right? And she was at Florida State. I went to FAM, and I said, "Why you don't come to FAM?" And she said, "Because I want to go to Florida State." I said, "Why do you want to go to Florida State?" And she said, "Florida State got more prestige right now than FAM, and I'm going to work to help FAM get better," or something she said. But the thing about it was, in dealing with so much differences and unnecessary hatred, which I believe we're starting all over again. That's why we have the Sister Girls, because I want to bring all of us together. And some of us can help others build tables.
Absolutely.
And see the value in themselves. And that's what I think that you all bring. And that's why you're here today, because we got to see how we help people do that, meaning and purposeful. And Dr. G, it's nothing like going in a place and you don't feel welcome.
She might have frozen up.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. It's not a pleasant place to be when you're an outsider. So I think all of us have the responsibility to lift people up and to help them feel like they belong in this world. And, regardless of what circumstances they're going through, I do think we're at a time in our lives when the stress levels have probably never been higher between the pandemic and
Yeah.
all the political turmoil that's happening on the verge of World War III, and
Right.
the racial disparities and the signaling out of people who are different is not okay, and we need to embrace each other for our differences and appreciate that when we do have differences, it actually makes us stronger.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think we need to, I mean, personally, I no longer patronize places that engage in that kind of discord, right? And so there are TV stations that really just want to have somebody respond to something hateful that somebody else says. And I've just stopped watching it because, and it makes my life better. And it's not that I'm burying my head in the sand because I'm very aware of what's going on, but I try to get news from other sources and get away from the negative chatter and the hate on one another. And, I think we're seeing that all over, as Dr. Judy said. We're seeing it locally, we're seeing it statewide for sure. I've been a lobbyist of the legislature for many years, and it's really reached a fever pitch. I mean, it's just one campaign mailer after another, and it's not good for humanity.
Wow. And I think that would be good too, Carrie, if all of us consider that people or stations or whatever that really heighten the discord or encourage it or talk about it, that somehow we disengage ourselves from that.
Yeah, if we can find a way, I think we should, for our own mental health and for our coalition building. And, the other day I had someone with whom I work closely attempt to gossip about somebody, and I just stopped him and I said, I'm that's not my value, and I'm not going to talk negatively about this person. And I don't know anything about the situation. I think we're all getting very good at being armchair analysts. And I don't want to be that way. I want to put good into the world. And and I also remember that, my children and their friends, they're always watching and they're learning. And, my daughter is 8 and she's at a very impressionable age where she sees how I talk to myself or how I relate to other people. And I don't want her to grow up with that negativity because there's so much out into the world. We need to lift people up. And I also think sometimes being a good leader means leading in different ways. So it's not always being the CEO or being the one who's at the front of the march. You have to figure out different ways to lead and empower others to come with you.
Wow. What's your thought, Dr. G?
For me, yeah, I agree. I think that a leader is somebody who positively influences other people. You do not need to be in a position of leadership to be a leader. And in fact, many people in positions of leadership are not actually great leaders. And that's unfortunate. That's when bad behavior happens in the workplace. That's when bad behavior happens in the world, when you have people in positions of leadership who aren't good leaders. Good leaders are people who positively influence others. So you can be a good leader in your home, in your church, in an organization, in your your family, among your friends. You can be a good leader in a workplace where you're not in a position of leadership. You can have more positive influence than the person in a position of leadership. And so I do think that it's important to hone your leadership skills to be that positive influence in other people's lives, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, and something that was just stated, we can stop it by saying, that's not my value.
It's not my value.
That's not my value. And so we have to understand, we don't want to be a part of the problem. We want to be solution people. And so because we want to open doors for folks, but not doors of contempt or doors of aggravation and frustration, doors that lead to more anger. People being upset, you just bring them to the table so they can argue. But when we come to the table, we're bringing solutions, right? So let me ask you this. how do we who are in certain places open the doors for others without okay, let me go back this way. A lot of times doors are not open because of jealousy or competition. Or you think that say if I was an attorney and there was an opportunity for me to open the door for Carrie, and I know she's better than me in this area, but jealousy or contempt or something will keep me from doing that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because we got to get doors open for other people. People sit in places and you're invited to places because people sit in places. Did that make sense?
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
what you said about jealousy and that's unfortunate. So I'd like to say that the root of all evil in the workplace and quite frankly the world is insecurity and fear. So when people have insecurity and fear, then unfortunately that's when bad behaviors are going to happen, including bullying, including putting other people down, including not opening doors, but rather shutting them on people who are maybe better at some things. True transformation to leadership begins when people overcome fears and self-limiting beliefs to get out of their comfort zone and into their strength zone. So when you truly become a leader, you want to open doors for others. You don't care if they are going to soar higher than you. You want that for them. You feel happy. You don't feel threatened by them. That's legacy. That's when you're immature, you're very much focused on yourself.
Yes.
As you mature through your lifetime, hopefully you then want to lift others, because you know that in turn lifts you when you lift other people.
Right. And I think you have to really think about every time you have a reaction or an emotion to have the self-discipline to dig deep and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? So if you're with another woman and you feel a spark of jealousy or resentment, you have to ask, why am I feeling this feeling right now? And what do I do with this emotion? It has taken me a long time to really walk that walk, but that's where I am too in my own life. And I just had a discussion earlier today about a pretty significant leadership opportunity. And, I offered to take a step back because I want to serve what's best for the organization that was at issue. And then I'm well aware that I may not be the best person for that particular need. And so you always want to keep the greater good or the mission of the organization or whatever that thing is that you're advocating for, keep that in the forefront, whether it's your church, your organization, your business. But I really think it matters, and I work on this with my children too, to really investigate your feelings and why you may be feeling a certain way, and to use that, to come to terms with it. My daughter struggles with anger issues. And a lot of it, doctor said was, we're at a very stressful time, and these children have really embodied the stress of COVID-19 and being away from classmates. And we encourage her to talk to us about, why are you feeling that way? And a lot of it comes from sadness and fear, and I think we as adults need to recognize those emotions in ourselves as well.
Wow, this is good, because we can't treat anybody any better than we treat ourselves. And so we want ourselves promoted. We should give that same opportunity to someone else. But at the same time, we have to investigate, why are we jealous of someone else? Why won't we open the door for someone else? Or why we don't do this good treatment to somebody else? And I love this, because we got to be honest.
Yes.
We have to be honest. If we're going to open it, it's going to be on the Sister Girls Network. In the Sister Girls Network, there are some powerful women, powerful women. And I am excited about it. And if I get a chance to open the door for anybody, it's open. With Working Class Wednesday, Terrence Barber asked me, who did I want to speak? He said, I know you want to speak. I said, I don't. How many speakers can I have? And that is an honest thing. My honesty, and I treat everybody with the same respect. I have no favorite, no respect to person. It's opening doors for everybody. Everybody that's a part of that team, it's to open the door for every single person because we all have something to offer differently. Differently, but importantly.
Amen. I mean, it's so true. It's so true. And I love this phase of my life where I feel like a lot of these lessons over the last 25 years are coming together, and now you can pass it on. And that's what we're all about as women, or we should be, I hope.
Yeah. And if not, we're going to get there.
That's right.
And that's what we're here to do, help each other get there. You know, and I'm not, of course, I'm very concerned about the Black race because that's very important to me. Because I think that we have accomplished so much. But I love all my sisters. I mean, like the white, the Black, the Asian, everybody, you know, and I think that we all are here to help each other.
For sure. Yes. I know we are.
Yeah, I know we are.
I know we are.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had the opportunity, I've had judges to call me up to their chambers to talk, to say, what are your perspective on this? What do you think about this? And I'm like, wow, you're a judge. You want me to say? They say, because we want your, and I keep it simple. But I'm finding out that it's so impactful.
Yes, it is. And that's wonderful that people will continue to reach out for perspectives. That's how change is made. That's how we address real issues. You know, I really believe in that.
And with people who don't necessarily agree with you, how can we as women and people really effectively work with people? I mean, and really get the job done, and they may not see it the way you see it. Let's talk about that. Attorney, Dr. G. Let's talk. How do we do that? I see my mama, my sister from Carolina, my sister from Scotland. All these folks coming on. Thank y'all so very much. Keep on putting people's name in there. But this is absolutely a good show. And as I said, I do shows to empower people. I want to help people make it to that table. I want to teach people how to build their own table, how to bring your own chair to the table. Right. If they don't have any room for you, make room. Ask somebody to scoot over. And
move on over.
Move on over. And that's what we teach each other.
Yeah.
Correct. And Carrie, I love what you're saying, because over the years, y'all, we have learned a lot of things. I have too. And I'm yet learning how to put things in perspective and how to handle some things when I really get angry. When I'm really angry, I don't go outside. And I don't talk to people.
You would keep it in. Yeah.
And I deal with me in the house. So when I address somebody, I don't come out rudely or disrespectfully. And I think it's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to see things differently. It doesn't mean that we're being attacked. Right. We just said we got different opinion. And maturity said, let's talk and let's get it right.
That's right.
Get a better understanding. Right, ladies?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think as attorneys sometimes, you know, so I've been out of law school for a long time. I won't tell you how long. But I think there's this belief that we are combative and confrontational and we like to spar with people. And I think that's true for some. But I always found much more emphasis in my practice with coming together to talk about a situation, talk about a problem, and see how we can resolve it. And again, that's something I learned from my family, from my father and mother. They were very active in politics. And that was back in the time when you had people who vehemently disagreed, and then they would go into town and have lunch together. Yeah. You know, and I feel like we're getting away from that time. And I want to help bring us back to that, where conflict isn't looked at as a bad thing. It just means we don't have an agreement yet on where we're going to go in a certain process. And I've always found from conflict comes opportunities for real change. And you have to be willing and excited to take that on and not look at it and run from it and get angered by it. And again, you know, really check yourself and understand why you're feeling frustrated, angry, resentful, jealous, whatever those emotions are. Anytime you go into a situation where there is a disagreement, that's all conflict is a disagreement.
Yeah, really what you're talking about is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And, resolving conflict is a big part of emotional intelligence. And so I like some of the things you said, including you kind of have to check yourself. What am I feeling? Is there a reason? Where is the other person's perspective? Rather than me judging where I think their perspective is, maybe we really want the same thing, but we disagree on how to get there. Let's have a conversation. Let's not, divide ourselves, which is really what's happening a lot in the world today, rather than dividing ourselves. I know people in families that are divided, politically and otherwise. They're divided right now. And it's sad to me because, I might disagree with you, as I do some of my family members, but I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to support you. I'm still, I might not understand the choices you're making. But ultimately, I think we all want the same thing. Ultimately, we want a safe environment. We want happiness. We want to lift each other up. I think we all want that. And so how do we have those conversations and deal with the conflict in a positive way? That's all about emotional intelligence.
Yeah. How do we have those conversations? And Lady Murd, thank you so very much for being on. I was on her show a few weeks ago. Thank you so very much for being on. She keep coming on. She's from Georgia by way of California. Thank you so very much. How do we deal with that? Because if I'm going to bring you to the table, if I'm going to open up an opportunity for you, and I know you're the best person, or at this particular moment, or your voice should be heard. How do I deal with a lack of emotional intelligence to really move this forward?
It's tough. It's a challenge, right? And we don't all start with the same information. And so a lot of what we're doing, I think, when we're resolving conflict is tapping into that emotional intelligence and realizing maybe right now I need to help teach and bring others up to speed with the information that I have. I also think it's important never to make assumptions. And I had a professor in law school who said, an assumption is the death of you and me. And it's true, because you assume things and it's not necessarily accurate. And again, I still go back to my children, who are the greatest life teachers I've ever had, right? And you think about their little 11 and 8-year-old brains, and they just don't have all the information yet. They don't have the life skills that we have. They don't have the experiences that we've had. And I'm continually teaching them as much as I can that's age appropriate. And I think sometimes as adults, we lose that capacity to teach or to really listen to other people. Some folks are too busy thinking about what they're going to say in response to what you just said, rather than just listening and taking it all in. And if you look at it from like a mediation perspective, you have to define your goal of what you're trying to achieve if possible, and work backward. And that's really how I approach those types of situations.
And Carrie, you said an important thing, because all of us adults, if we remember, we have children who are watching us handle life. We have children who are watching all of this division, all of this hatred. And these children are also dealing with the COVID effect. It is, I mean, our world is crazy. And so as women, I am, Carrie, I feel this just so strongly that it's going to be us who really come together and help change this world. Our children are watching us. We can't let these little boys and these little girls, these teenagers, see us fighting each other. We can't. And Carrie, I'm glad you said what you're doing in your home, because that's where it starts. They come out angry from their house. My mom and dad, I'm 63 years old. I've never heard them. If they did it, I'm just saying I never heard them. We never heard them belittle anyone. We never heard it. Okay, I'm 63. I never heard it. My brother's 5 years older than me. I don't know if he heard it or not, but I never heard it. And they taught us. And my dad would say, Judy, just sit back, get a perspective. And I love to say we come to the table with different information. That is probably because we're coming, but we don't have the same information. So an assumption is the depth of us.
That's right.
And so we got to make it to this emotional intelligence so we can support each other and encourage everybody on my team who work with me, everybody who's part of Sister Girl, everybody who's part of Dream Builders. I work hard not to show any favoritism, to make sure that they're getting the same exact everything for what they serve. You know, God, this is great. I think the whole world should hear this. I really do. More than just the 25,000, how many thousand on here? I think the whole world, because I think what you all are saying now is going to help our world, help Tallahassee, help Georgia, help Fort Lauderdale, help Scotland. Going to help all of us, help Orlando and Miami. No, go ahead, Dr. G.S. It looked like it's right there. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if people do want to work on their emotional intelligence more, I have a self-assessment that I use where they can score themselves. And then I have some resources that I've developed to help them. Like, here are some tips to work on one of the 5 primary components of emotional intelligence.
And you put that information in the chat.
Yeah, it's already it's already, you can see the scrolling right now is how to reach me, and just reach out and say, I'd love to see that emotional intelligence information. But yeah, the thing is, unlike IQ, EQ, which is emotional quotient, can be positively changed pretty easily. And so these are just exercises you need to do to expand your thoughts and expand your ability to handle information, to handle other people's emotions, and then to manage your own successfully.
Wow. So let me ask, what's some tip that you would give to those who really want an opportunity to walk into an open door? What's some of the preparation to? Because I'm a believer of this. I'm not just gonna I'm not gonna open the door just for anybody,
Right?
Because I have a reputation. My name will be on the line. If somebody bring you to the table because Judy invited you, then you get there and you're not prepared.
Yeah.
What would y'all say on that? Because I don't want a non-prepared attorney or doctor.
Right.
I want an attorney. If I'm going before the judge, I want them to know the right words to say and how to say it, how to defend me if I'm on that side. I want to make when I talked with Jessica yearly.
Yeah.
I said, and Jessica, I don't plan to come before you at all. I don't plan to go to court. Peradventure, something happens in life and I have to get there and I want a public defender. I want you.
Right.
Now you got to tell me why I need to vote for you.
Right.
You need to persuade me right now why I need to vote for you, because you go before the judge. I don't need you to whimper down. I need you to put on your big girl pants and let's win this war. Yeah. So what do you say about that?
Well, I think that's a great point. And you have to be with folks who understand the situation. So whether it's law or nonprofit work or consulting or working for the government, whatever the case may be, you have to know the system and know how to maneuver within it. Sometimes as attorneys, we may think, okay, we need to go into this hearing with, guns blazing and show that judge who's boss. And sometimes that's the absolute wrong thing to do. Because you have to remember who has the power in the courtroom. It's the court, right? Who has the power in your organization? It may be the CEO, or it may be some of the folks in the middle management. It may be the workers who just got hired. It really depends on a particular situation. And I think with anything, I don't believe in luck. I believe in preparation meets opportunity. And then you'll start to find more and more positive things come your way when you have those 2 ingredients. And you can only get there with a positive mindset. You're not going to get there talking trash about other women or your sister girls or your, partner, all those things. Whenever I'm around someone that's talking badly about their partner, it really gives me a pause, because if they're saying that about their partner,
right,
what are they saying about you in the background? And so I really believe it starts by being prepared. Be the best whatever it is you want to be, that you can be. If you want to be, the best public speaker, you need to surround yourself with the best resources, spend the time, give up your Friday nights, give up your Saturday nights, and just focus on what it is you want to do. I always joke that, Ryan and I, we met when we were teenagers. We met 3 days into college, and we've been together ever since. And if I wanted to see him the last 2 years of college, I had to go to the library because he was in engineering. It was very, serious subjects. And I was always a really naturally good student. I didn't have to study so much, even with chemistry and all those classes. But right. But if I wanted to see him, and so that's where I met him. And that preparation, he was never the greatest student, but he was always the most prepared. And that opened doors for him. And so I see that with these young kids. I see it with teens. You just have to dig in and figure out, how do I be the best, whatever it is that I want to be, and find the last piece I would say. And Judy, you've talked about your mentors. I have been blessed with strong mentors in my life. And that wasn't by accident. I sought them out. I asked for their guidance and their wisdom, and I wanted to learn from them. And I did not feel ashamed if I made an error. I was not afraid of looking stupid, I expected to make mistakes. And I think most of us who have had any measure of success have probably failed more times than we've been successful. And you have to realize that's all part of the process. What you sometimes see on social media isn't reality. I promise you, I have fallen flat on my face more times than I have risen, but I'm going to keep rising. So
that is true. Dr. G, this is good, you all. So be the best. You got to prepare to be the best. And she talked about the sacrifice, the focusing. You have to prepare for that. Okay. I'm part of Toastmasters.
Yes.
And I'm part of, it's a public speaking thing on YouTube, and I do that. And she says, seek out the mentors you want. There's some people that you're looking to do. They're not the good mentors. Mm-hmm. Seek them out. Check out what they do. Don't let Facebook fool you. Right. No, don't let Facebook fool you. A lot of those people are not doing that stuff. Don't let Facebook fool you. Come on, Dr. G.
Yeah, so I love what you were saying, Carrie, and I completely agree with you. It really is about being the best version of yourself. And no matter where you are in your life, if you're in retirement already or you're just starting out, you can always be better. You can always make improvements, and that takes hard work and sacrifice. So I remember when I was a teenager, I was really living in poverty. It was very challenging. I was working at Burger King, and I was a vegetarian. I was the best Whopper maker you've ever met. I got so good at it, and I just worked hard. No matter what I did, I worked 3 jobs to pay my way through school. Don't let hurdles that others put in front of you get in the way. Don't let your past be your future. Rewrite your own path, because not all of us had the best childhood and had those mentors around us. And so it's never too late, regardless of where you are in your life, to find those positive influences. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, but also who hold you accountable. Yes. So you want your cheerleaders, but you also want people who are going to be real with you, who are going to say, okay, look, you didn't put in the work. What do you expect from this? You have to put in the work. And how did I get where I am today? I made a lot of sacrifices. When all my friends were out partying in college, I was working. And I ended up homeless. You said, Dr. Judy, you said that, sometimes the circumstances are such that you don't end up where you thought you would be. I was homeless. I was living in my car, not realizing that was called homeless until 10 years later. Because I had shelter, I thought that was a home, living in my car. And I thought to myself, having grown up in very strange circumstances when my parents were divorced when I was 12, that's when the real poverty started. And I would say that I was like, okay, how am I going to get myself out of this? Education is my ticket out of poverty. I'm not going to repeat this cycle. I am not going to be,
Mhm.
I'm not going to be what I saw in my life. And so I think wherever you are, just think about where do you want to be and what do you need to do to get there?
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
and if you don't know that yet, you need to sit down and reflect on where you are and then make some sacrifices. Stop spending so much time watching TV, gaming, on social media. Instead, spend it on things that are important and with people who are important in your life.
I like yeah, I like to spend time in the woods and walking. And I watched a training last week through the county that I had to participate in. And, Yolanda Speaks was our trainer, and she was incredible. But she always was, she said several times about, taking it to the woods. And really what that means is taking the time to invest in yourself and to listen to the voices in your head and to figure out your next path and what you're going to do. And I think sometimes we are afraid to be alone with ourselves and our thoughts. And you cannot be. You have to spend time in your head and sift through all of the many things that are telling you why you can't do something, and to figure out how you move forward. So,
Man, this is absolutely fantastic, y'all. And an hour go by so fast. It goes by so fast. All of these beautiful comments on here by everybody. Y'all, please share this. If you would, share this show. This is what we need. If people are going to really improve and see themselves and make preparation, we need real talk. We need real talk. We need to hear people telling it just like it is. It doesn't happen overnight. I'm listening to you. It doesn't happen overnight. Where I am now, when my mom and dad raised all six of us to believe that we were the best thing in the world, that the world was waiting on us, and so we had to be our best. They made us believe that, and I talked a lot. Y'all probably can't believe that, but I used to talk a lot. But my dad said, your voice is going to be heard all over the world. My mom would prepare. And my mom stuttered one time, and I used to have a lazy tongue, but she encouraged me because my mom is a good speaker, and she owned her own daycare center in Fort Lauderdale for 45 years. Miss Moran is one of her best friends, and the county, streets are named. She had a street name after her. They built her. Just and she was my hero. I wanted to be everything my mom was. My uncle here in Hunter, he's an attorney here in the city. When he retired, but he used to say, "You're a Hawkeye," and he called me that because he said I would just watch my mom. He said I would just stare at her, and to this day I do. She's 83. And I talk to her about 2 or 3 times a day. I want to hear her voice sometimes. She talks short to me sometimes, like, "Judy, you okay?" "Yes." "All right then, bye-bye." Snap, lady, I want to say something. And so and Carrie and Dr. G, that's what I give to women. That's what I give to people, what my mom and my dad gave to us. Because I think everybody is special. And I brought you two on today because I wanted people to hear from you all some of the things that I've gained in listening to you or watching you handle different things. And I watch y'all. I watch certain people because I like them, and I see the effect that they're having, and I want to have that same thing. And when I go into different doors, I watch how to carry. I watch how to look, when to say, not to say. I learned all of this stuff. Okay, I have learned this, and I'm yet learning. I'm improving every day. I make it a point for me to improve Judy. All right.
I hope the learning never ends. Right?
Yes.
I think that's what it is. And I really appreciated chatting with you all. And again, we know that there are really severe problems in the world. We know and understand that not everyone starts with the same parity. We don't all start at the same starting line. I completely understand that. But what I promise you is this, is if you don't have a positive mindset, you're never going to get off the blocks. So you have to recognize, yes, we don't all start at the same in the same parity, but we have to bring the table, do the work, and rise it up. And I know that we all can. And I do believe the future is female.
I do too.
I really do. And I believe that we are over half the population. And I think the best is just beginning.
Y'all get off the block. See yourself off the block, okay?
Yeah.
You deserve to be at the table. And we're opening up opportunities for you by telling you to prepare. Get your mind ready. And listen to people who've been there. Don't ever forget where you come from. And help some. Dr. G, give us. See, if you was in the hood, we'll call you Dr. Gab.
Gabrielle is what I prefer. Okay. I know it's hard to say. So, yeah, the positive mindset thing is so important. If you say, I'm going to fail, you are going to fail. If you say, I'm going to succeed, then chances are very good you are. Now, when we were talking about leadership being positively influencing other people, I also want you to think of who are you influencing? Because people do what people see. And so whether it's your children, it's people in the workplace, it's people in your organization, in school, whatever. Think about, what are you doing to lift other people up by setting an example, by being that positive person who is helping other people, who is opening doors for other people, and then they will start to do the same thing.
There you have it, John.
I love it.
This is absolutely a great show. I'm going to replay it on my page, and it'll be on YouTube. Miss Priscilla will have it on YouTube. She will send it to you all, and everybody. I see that you all are sharing it with people. Thank you all so very much. Share it on your page. Encourage it. This is what it's about. And if we are to be a change, make changes in our city, wherever you're from, it's going to take you coming together with other women, other people, to make it happen. And we all are at different levels, okay? And so the ones who have made it a little higher, your responsibility to help those who are still trying to come up higher. That's my belief, okay? So you made it to step number 5. Help those who coming behind you, but be honest with them. It take work.
Yeah.
It take
hard work.
It's hard work.
Hard work.
It's hard work. You're not just gonna get it. And get rid of jealousy. Get rid of envy. You have it in you. Take a moment and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way towards my sister? And be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Well, y'all, this has been the Real Talk with Judy live radio show here on Hallelujah 95.3 FM. We are thankful that you have joined us today. Share it. Go back and take notes, you all. Some of you have made some good comments on here, and I want to thank you. I want to invite you March 23rd, which is next Wednesday, I believe. We're going to be at the Edison. The Sister Girls Network is going to be at the Edison with Working Class Wednesday. There's going to be a lot of us out there. We're hoping to have over 100. And ladies, listen to this. You can set up your own table. You just for free. You just got to bring your table. And he'll have men there to help you, or people there to help you set your table up. But you're welcome to come. It's from 6 to 8. If you're going to set up a table, you got to be there early, okay? Because we're starting exactly 6. March 28th, the Sister Girls Network is going to be celebrating each other at Happy Motoring. And Dana Brooks and her law firm is sponsoring the food. So you all come out there, and they bring in some good food. So you all come out. Also, that's the Women's History Month celebration with Working Class Wednesday. So we're going to be out there. We're going to be out there March 28th. We want you all to come. Terrence Barber has seen the Sister Girls Network. He's excited about it. And I mean, everybody's talking about it. Because they say they haven't seen such a diversified group of peace and unity like the one Sister Girls have. And you know who make it like that? All of us. Because we don't bring drama.
That's right. No drama, mama.
No drama, mama. We're not ready yet. All right, so we look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday, and next Wednesday, and then the following Monday. Also, this Thursday, I think I'm on a show with a lady from North Carolina, from Texas. We'll be on Facebook Thursday. So y'all, we're doing some good things. All right. So y'all can join me for Bible study tonight at 7:30. He will be teaching Bible study tonight. That's a nice looking man, boy. But he will be teaching Bible study tonight. Thank you all again for joining. Dr. D, thank you again, sir. Thank you, Carrie. And thank you, Dr. G. I greatly appreciate you all. And thank you, Priscilla. And to the greatest audience ever, thank you for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. And we are opening doors for others. That's Real Talk.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy.